Amanda.
Hello, how are you?
I am very well. You have got my dream job. There's so much I want to talk to you about being on a farm. Honestly, you don't understand.
Yeah, well, I mean, on today's like today, I think that too. I mean, obviously it has its moments like anything. And, at certain times I will think I would love a job in a studio. Because I mean, things like what's the weather going to do? It massively affects everything that goes on the farm, rather than just whether you need to take an umbrella and worry about your hair. So, it makes sense.
Well, look, we've got so much to chat about. It would be rude of me to not begin this chat by asking you what you are wearing right now. You just mentioned, obviously, you've already been on the farm today, but what have you got on so people that are just listening can hear what's going on?
Well, I am so pleased. I subscribe to Vogue and Farmer's Guardian. Okay, so you've got a bit of a clash here, right? So we are, because I always was, wool, tartan. I
Love.
have got on a tartan skirts. Okay, you can farm in skirts. I've got a black polo neck, standard kind of thing, and a really floppy, really soft wool jumper that's starting to go a little bit bobbly, but it's comfortable, it's warm, and yeah. And of course, long woolly socks, which are very St. Trinians, but actually quite practical, because it does mean that you can go bare-legged. Now, I get a lot of people who will sort of see me about on the farm or when I'm posting pictures or doing things, and they'll be like, you shouldn't be wearing that. People are very judgy. The other day,
What?
I put a video up of carving a cow. So I was there carving a cow with a carving jack, all the children surrounding me, and we're literally going through all this trauma, and some random person could put, glad to see you wearing the right attire.
What the heck?
And I sent one back and put, I've got a miniskirt on underneath. Because and the only reason I'd put on over trousers over the top to make sure I didn't get amniotic fluid down my welly. So you know what I mean? It's like, oh.
Do you know what? I'm to be honest, I'm especially doing this podcast as well, but even before that, I'm just a believer in wear whatever the heck you want. That would not be what I would personally be looking at, if I'm being honest with you. But
No,
hello, social media.
well, I think you wear what you want, but it's funny how in this sort of day and age when we're supposed to be championing sort of freedom of expression and being yourself,
Yeah.
that if you put a pair of earrings in, you can incur the wrath of somebody who thinks you absolutely shouldn't be wearing earrings whilst running a sheepdog or something. And it's like, it is beyond unbelievable when the whole story can be written about the shambolic state of affairs that I was gathering the moor with my sheepdog wearing a miniskirt. And women my age, yes, this actually was a headline, women my age, i.e. over 50, should definitely not wear skirts above their knees.
That was not a headline.
Yes, it was.
Do you know what? I'd have made it into a bloody boob tube and then taken some more photos and put it on there.
Oh, I've got a boob tube as well. Did you not see that the other way? That actually made that made the Telegraph. I cut it out. I put a picture up putting, I am much too old to be wearing a bikini and definitely much too old to be riding a horse bareback. Therefore, I am doing both of these things. And it was actually printed in the Telegraph.
No, you know what? High five to you. Coming right over. Let's go back to the start. Your love of reading, I suppose, led you to farming, right? So for people that don't know who you are, you initially wanted to be a vet, is that correct?
Yeah, I did want to be a vet, but I didn't have the academic credentials, the work ethic, or basically the sort of devotion and dedication that was needed to get to vet school. I spent a lot of time daydreaming, looking out the window. That was what I was. I was a dreamer. So it was a bit of a change of career path that set me off to become a shepherd. And it was all through the James Herriot books. And then another book called Hill Shepherd, which in hindsight, I was, at that sort of age, 14, 15, when you're being asked these big questions about what you want to do the rest of your life. Some kids know. I think the majority of them don't. And I didn't know. All I wanted to know was that I wanted to upset people. I was I was fed up of being the person that nobody ever remembered. I wasn't naughty. I wasn't good. I didn't excel at anything. I was just middling, you know? So it's like, okay, time for a rebellion. And of course, when you're that age, I suppose the rebellion usually comes in the form of what you wear, doesn't it? So we attempted the sort of goth. We attempted sort of the big paratrooper boots and the rip
I
tights.
love that.
And there was also sort of a bit of a new romantic sort of twinge with it, where the big petticoats. And for a while, I actually wore a travel blanket knotted around my neck and round my back, and teabag tops and one leather glove. It was a mashup between Madonna, Gothic, Michael Jackson. It was just, and you know what? Nobody even batted an eyelid, because I was living in a town, and when everybody's rebelling, it isn't a rebellion, is it? You know, just going with the flow, really. But I tell you what, actually saying, you know what, I want to become a shepherd. I want to leave all this behind and go away to the hills. That was my rebellion. It was kind of like the opposite. So, you know, it was kind of like, really? She wants to be a shepherd? And I didn't just want to be sort of the Wuthering Heights style, sort of, you know, the sort of distant gaze to the sort of skyline. I wanted to be in and amongst it, you know. I wanted to sort of challenge myself as to what I could achieve and what I could do and what I could learn. So that's where it all began.
It's wild what you've done, because obviously we've been watching you on TV screen since, what is it, 2018, with our Yorkshire farm. So, like, when that opportunity came along, was it a given that you were going to do that? Was it a straight yes, or did you, you know, was you hesitant?
It was a slow build. It was a slow build, because, I mean, you know, anyone who says, well, how? I mean, I asked myself that question. I asked myself how, why, etc. But it all began from literally a farm diversification. You know, I don't want to say living the dream, because that sounds so cheesy, but it's you know, it isn't easy. It's a hard sort of a life. You're out there in the elements, having the children. At that time, I probably had, I don't know, 5 or 6. I've no idea. I can't remember. But basically, it was about balancing the books and earning some extra money. So I set off making cups of tea. It was that simple. I made cups of tea for walkers that were coming through. And then one day, one of the walkers was actually a scout looking for somebody to be part of a television program. And I thought, hey, this is a great way to advertise cups of tea. So we didn't get paid for it. And we were on part of this show called The Dales with Ade Edmondson. And that's where it began to escalate. It all started right there. So I've always been somebody who took opportunities and stuck my neck out, because it's such a place to be, and it's such a life, and I still absolutely love it. But I almost love the fact that it is hard. Do you know what I mean? It's not about, I don't want to sort of buy myself into an easy life. I want to be able to keep it going. I want to be able to keep it going for my children as well, because I feel like a life here gives you such a devil-may-care attitude. You get an independence. You just feel like a bit more like a pioneer. You feel like it's you versus nature versus whatever's going to be thrown at you. There's no such thing as a typical day. And I think we're blessed. So that was where it all began. There was no desire to change my life. People said, you know, why would you want to get into the media? It wasn't about, hey, I want to get famous or infamous. It was literally just also, I suppose, a sense of pride, that I'm quite proud of how we farm and what we do and the place that we live. So there was that too. But yeah, no one could ever have predicted what would happen later down the line. Yeah.
I cannot believe as well that you have 9 children.
I do have 9.
Like, how many washing machines have you got? Are they constantly on the go?
I've got 3, and they're the oldest washing machines in the world. They are the oldest washing. You can wash anything in my washing machine. I load them with my foot. I put horse rugs in. I mean, that behind me. I mean, that's insanely crazy. That is a white dress. That is, believe me, that is not a farm kind of a farm outfit. But it said dry clean only, and I was like, hell no, shove it in, see what happens. you know, and I find that the older machines seem to be made more sturdy. So I can put anything in and the best thing that actually happened was when the sort of government made money turning to that plasticky stuff that felt horrible. Because when it actually goes in the washing machine, it all sticks to the front of the glass and I can go, oh, I've got some winning things. Nobody empties the pockets. It's got like anything from a dead mole to a screw to mince, fluff balls, you name it. It's all in there. It's all in there in the washing machine. So yeah, I think things sort of like get tried and tested when they're here. Yeah.
I mean, you have got some amazing outfits. In terms of a hand-me-down,
Now I had to think about this because do you know what?
Yeah, go on.
This is the dream. This is the dream because I mean I've been laughed at so many times. Like people are like Vogue, but my kids love Vogue. They love clothes, and they love the fact that everything is sort of it goes in a circle everything comes back in. At the moment, I'm loving tweeds,
nice.
farming, country wear. I mean, anything that I can actually wear on the farm that actually is going to keep me warm. I'm not
and look good as well.
Yeah. I mean, I washed a jumper. I washed a really lovely grey jumper the other day, accidentally in with the others. So now Nancy is wearing it because it's the size of a leprechaun. It's like made out of felt. She can't move because it's like really stiff, but it's like
can't lift her arms up.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to hand-me-downs, I mean, it was a sign of the time when I was in the co-op doing my shopping, and Raven rang me. He was like, "Hiya, Mum. I'm at Glastonbury," and I'm like, "You're wearing my dress. You're wearing my dress, bitch. I'm at the co-op. I ain't at Glastonbury, but my dress is at Glastonbury." And then when she comes back after nicking my dress, I even feel as I bury my head in it that I am at Glastonbury. It smells of Glastonbury. The dress is Glastonbury. So when it comes to hand-me-downs, if any of my kids came in here now, they would say one of the top things that they want is my wardrobe. Okay? Because there's a massive Burberry scarf there.
Oh my God, that is banging. It's like striped. Oh my God.
Do you remember there was once a picture of Lenny Kravitz in a massive scarf?
Yes!
That's like that. It is huge. It's a knitted scarf. Okay?
That is beautiful. And the main colour's green. Is like she's gone, but the scarf is it's green, stripy. It's banging. To be fair, I mean, I could probably live in it. It is huge. And now she's gone to go and get us. I love how prepped you are, by the way. Oh my God! Purple heeled platform boots. They are beautiful. Do you wear them on the farm?
No, you can tell from underneath. They'd have like a clod of mud on bottom. Literally, can you imagine? I look like about 6'5" when I wear these. I think people think I'm a bloke when I wear these because I mean I'm 6'2" at the best of times. But the number of times I come in and the kids will be like mincing about in these because they're the kind of shoe that you put on for a very short amount of time and then to kick it off again under the table and put something sensible on because they look great, they feel great. But practically, they have their limitations. So they kind of like for carpet wear only.
What size are you?
I've got big feet. I'm a size 8, you see. So you know,
whatever.
Size 8. So yeah. So that's another favourite thing. So they like my wardrobe. I've got a fur coat that belonged to my granny. I've got all sorts of things. So it's high on the agenda what's in my wardrobe and what they would want, and I always feel it's like a compliment for your children to want your clothes. I mean, yes, it's irritating. It's like when they discover that actually good makeup brands are better than not good makeup brands. Obviously, you kind of you're like, oh, this is great. My children have learned that actually a Chanel eyeliner is far better than a Barry M one or something. Oh, sorry, shouldn't mention these brands. A supermarket own brand or whatever. Of course. So you're like, oh, they've been brought up so well. Then the next time you look in your makeup case, it's like, well, it's not there, is it?
So it's on their face.
Exactly. So it's kind of a problem of your own making, isn't it? So yeah. So hand-me-downs. If there was a real one special hand-me-down that was of sentimental, I'm going to say, and this is probably a weird one,
No,
it's
go on.
side saddle habit. I've got horses, and
Yeah.
I ride out on horses. Now, everybody has a picture in their mind of people who ride horses and girls who ride horses and men.
I'm a horsey person, by the way. I had horses growing up.
Perfect.
I
Okay.
used to be. I'm a stables girl, so yeah.
Yeah. So you know, and you know, it's the long boots and the jodhpurs or the breeches and you know the jacket and all the rest of it. But inevitably, when you're on a farm and you've got horses, you usually end up in a bobbly pair of leggings with a pair of wellies, a pair of woolly gloves, and like some sort of scarf wrapped around your nose because it's freezing, got a drip on your nose, and you don't look like anybody who's doing dressage or anything. You're always like dressed in your muck. So every so often, and I did this probably about a month ago, actually, when there was a bit of good weather, I will go out, get one of the bigger horses, and I will put a side saddle on the horse, and I will slip into a jacket and an apron and long boots and a bowler hat and a veil, red lipstick, also a hole cut through, which you can stick a cigarette through if you're really going for it. I know! But for a little while, you're just in another world. You're in a world of elegance. I mean, not when your horse farts, obviously.
Or stops for a pee.
Yeah, exactly. Or like me, you actually drop your crop on the road and realise that you can't get off because you're on the saddle sideways. You just have to leave it and send one of the kids back for it later. Because of course, if you're really elegant and sort of, you'd have a lovely groom, wouldn't you, who would like gently lift you up into the seat. Whereas me, I climbed up a gate onto a wall and got my leg over it. Yeah, you know what I mean? I was going down the road feeling like absolutely epic, you know.
You're brilliant.
Even the horse was feeling, you know, that of a great outfit when you feel a million.
Yeah.
Even the horse was feeling it. It was fairly, you know, you know. And then a car slowed down because I was on a quiet road, and he went, "I thought I was seeing a ghost." Because literally, I looked like I was out of some sort of like period drama or something. But you know what? It just made me so happy. And also, the other thing that made me feel happy was the fact that the habit, which is made of like Melton wool, when it snows or anything, the wool it insulates you, so the snow sits on the habit. You don't get cold. You don't get wet breeches or anything. You are so snug. And in the back of it, it's got the label of the lady who it was made for. And it's about 1919. And I always think to myself, there was a lady of my proportions riding in 1919.
That is fascinating, actually.
Because, of course, it has to be cut very specifically. Because you're sitting on a saddle sideways,
yeah,
it has to be cut from your hip to your knee so that it hangs properly. So that is my one thing, which, let's be honest with you, probably isn't actually that wearable unless you're doing side saddle. But the other day at an auction, I did actually get 2 old mannequins, which might sound a bit freaky, but
to be honest, I don't know where this conversation's going either now.
I know, but yeah.
Just end that there.
Yeah, end up there. Yes. But so you know, it's kind of it's a very evocative because it conjures up ideas of who was wearing it from a different time.
No, I love that.
And that
is really cool.
Age-old elegance. So that's...
Well, I think that outfit that you've just described and what you get up to, that should just be your birthday suit, because I ask everyone what their birthday suit outfit would be, but I feel like you've ticked that box. I feel like we've completed that one.
That probably is. I mean, anything that you actually get to wear a veil, that also... If you wear it the wrong way, right? See, I have a thing about fishnets, right? You know, fishnets, once upon a time, it was like, ooh, she wears fishnets. Oh, it's a bit, ugh. Anyway, fishnets are great because when you're 6'2", no tights, even ones that say extra large, they never fit. They always fall down, always. And it's a horrible feeling because you just feel like you're waddling. But if you get fishnets, you just get bigger holes in the fishnets so they don't fall down. So it's wonderful.
Good point.
Yeah, statement fishnets. So I love my fishnets. Anyway, after being on the television, obviously, and writing the books and bits and pieces, I would get like letters sometimes, fan mail, sometimes not. Can't believe you are wearing this. Can't believe you are doing whatever. Yeah, can't please everybody ever. Anyway, one time I got a parcel and it said on the outside of it, contains fishnets. I was like, oh, hooray. I've got a slightly kinky sort of a fan out there, because usually it was like farmer types, you know what I mean? And it sent me things like knitted hats with my name on and stuff. But I was like, hooray!
I'll take one of them.
Yeah, finally, I've got one that's going to send me something interesting, something with a bit of a kink. So I opened it up, and when I got inside, it was actually a fish net to put in the river. Yeah.
I'm wet.
To bait up with a piece of bloody sausage so I could catch trout.
I bet you still made it into an outfit knowing you.
Yeah.
Have that for a top.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, there you go. That's where I'm at. I was like, right, okay, I need to accept this. So yeah.
You're
So, yeah.
funny. Just regarding like social media, because just listening to you talk there, and like you wear whatever you want, you do whatever you want. Do you ever look at your social media and look at like comments and stuff, or are you not that sort of person? Like, how, if someone does say something negative?
It just depends. You know that thing where you sort of squintily look at it and half look at it, you know?
Yeah.
But I tend to find that usually a newspaper will find the negative. A newspaper will find the hater, because it's the gift that keeps giving, isn't it? So really speaking, if somebody says something like they did about the skirt that time, that it's an absolute travesty that I should be wearing a mini skirt, then before you know it, you know, you don't have to worry about any clapback because it'll be in the newspaper. And then there'll be a whole argument sets off with people saying, you know, can't believe you said this. You shouldn't be so judging. Another person saying, well, so in a way, I kind of don't have to. You know,
no.
The children, I mean, there is a reason for it. We have clothes. We have lots of clothes. Obviously, you clothe every day. Now, usually when it comes to farming and being outside and all the rest of it, it's pretty much leggings, jeans, jumpers, shirts, that kind of stuff. But actually, it doesn't matter if you can do the job. There are certain jobs that you need to dress in a certain way. If I'm shearing sheep, then I have to wear shearing jeans, because if not, I'll end up black and blue. A couple of weeks ago, we were doing a front cover for a magazine, and I knew we were going to have wardrobe come to give us some outfits and bits and pieces. So I actually was shearing the sheep in salopettes from the second-hand shop, because, of course, they're a bit more padded and protect my legs from getting so bruised. So it's kind of like a bit of give and take. You might end up with arms like Madonna, but you end up with legs that are black and blue from shearing the sheep. But again, you can do the job and it works. The children, they're exactly the same. Have you ever looked in your drawers and looked and thought, I haven't worn that. Will I ever wear that? But I really like it. So therefore, what exactly are you preserving it for? Because if you like it and you want to wear it, I just say to the kids, you wear it. So you will have seen some pretty incongruous sights of, you know, children in tutus with wellies, with blazers and bits. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You know, anything that puts a smile on their face and makes them feel good, that will do. And that's exactly what, it's not for anybody. I mean, many a day I'll only see the children, sheep, cows, horses. So you might say, well, it wouldn't matter a hoot. But I feel like that would be a slippery slope. You might say, well, that's terrible vanity. And yeah, I suppose to a certain degree. But that is intrinsically who I am and what I absolutely love. I just love fashion. People will say when I go on theatre tour or whenever I go to an event, they'd be like, oh, we thought you'd come in your wellies with your sheepdog. And I'm like, you don't have to wear who you are to prove who you are. Do you see what I mean? It's
No.
weird.
Yeah, no, I do.
It's a weird. If
I
you're a
do.
doctor, you don't wander around with a stethoscope just to prove it. So I don't wander around with a shepherd's crook, just so that, because you can have all the gear and no idea. And there's nothing I like more than to shock in a quite
Yeah, I
easy
bet.
way. So if I go on stage and I've got a honking great big pair of platforms and some awesome stilettos and fishnets and a bodycon dress, good. Because
I love that.
in
So
this
fun.
age, in this sort of age now, it's about encouraging youngsters to come into it. And if you're going to say, well, for your working life, you're going to be dressed in green waterproof and smell of cat wee, and you're not exactly selling it, are you? So it's about happiness, job satisfaction, and being who you are. I think I was on Lorraine, and they took a picture, and I was sat there talking to Lorraine, and I had a white pale cream leather skirt on, just a plain normal black top, and behind me they had a big picture of me out rudding the tops. So I've got like a rud bucket full of yellow rud, a bobble hat, a big checky shirt, and it's like it's the same person, but it just, you don't want to back yourself into a corner. It's just something for me.
I just think it goes back to the fact of just wear what you want to wear. It's as simple as that. Just wear whatever you want to wear. And like, even with your kids, I've got a little girl, she's 3, and she's really into her clothes actually. She'll go and, get a little pair of socks that match or don't match, whatever. But I just let her be, let her wear what she wants, obviously to a certain extent. I'm not going to let her go out in -4 with, with nothing on, obviously. But I let her just do her, because otherwise, how do you have fun?
It's your identity.
Yeah.
Do you know, if putting something on that makes you feel good and feel positive, it's almost like when people say about putting a uniform on, it says, I mean business.
Yeah. So true.
I am doing this, and this makes me, in essence, I suppose, feel confident and feel strong. And if that's what it does for you, nobody else really should have any kind of problem with it. I mean, of course, if I was out with the moor and I was wearing like a tiny thong and I got hypothermia and the mountain rescue had to come out and get me, then you could absolutely feel free to call me a total idiot. Okay? That's absolutely fine. I get that. And
Of your shepherd's hook, don't forget that.
no, exactly. And I mean, so many of the trends, it's brilliant. I mean, layers, yeah. I mean, I do layers like you wouldn't believe. Do layers? It's like something on top of something on top of something on top of something, and wellies. I mean, we all remember Kate Moss, don't we? And her Glastonbury wellies and all the rest of it. It's great, and it's good, and it works, and it's one of the joys in life, I think.
So true. Let's talk about Christmas. My favourite time of the year. You've got a new book, Christmas Tales from the Farm. So a lot of this is taken from real life stories, right?
Mhm. Yes.
And you're going on tour with this book as well?
I am. I will be out and about. That was like, I was out day before yesterday at a literature festival, and it was like milk cow, milk cow, milk cow, sort out children, dole out jobs, sort out the top, sort out the dogs, sort out this, go feed the chickens, jump into car, head to Huddersfield, literature festival, shimmy out of something into something else, pull on fishnets, pull on platform shoes, wobble on stage, get out, repeat, do it all back again, mince my way through the farmyard, try not to tread in anything bad, carry on. It's just, that's, I mean, the number of times I've ended up doing stupid things, dressed absolutely, completely in the wrong attire. Being on a farm sort of weeds out the fair weather friends, because people will turn up. I've had people turn up in suits who have been heading to official things who have ended up basically holding a tail whilst I try and carve something.
This is my dream. This would be my dream. I can't even tell you.
Exactly. You know, I always remember having one of the school teachers come up because instead of me going to parents' evening, which never happened, they decided they would bring parents' evening to me. And bearing in mind, I had more than half of the population of the village school, it made sense. So parents' evening came to me, and it just so happened that we were basically pumping the stomach of a horse. And it was like, oh, hi, this is just exactly what I need. Somebody to help hold a horse. So dressed in just his normal clothes, holding onto a lead rope. Well, basically, there's projectile snot and chewed up food coming out of this horse's covered in it. And it's like...
If you're there, you got to get stuck in.
You get stuck in, and like I say, if you're too precious about these things, you don't come back, which they didn't. I didn't have to do parents' evening after that again, so it's fine.
That's why you done it in the first place.
It worked. It absolutely
Have you ever had a wardrobe malfunction where clothes have really let you down?
Well, I mean, obviously, I've had the zip give way on stage and all the rest of it, and had to do the annotated sideways crab walk off stage because actually my ass is hanging out at the back. That's not good, you know. But I think probably the best and worst one sticks in my mind because Hazel, my Clydesdale mare, and she was due to foal. So now she would have been 4 years old, and it was her first foal. And obviously, I was quite stressed about this because, you know, she's a heavy horse. She's enormous. Therefore, the foal that was going to come out of her was also going to be enormous. And I had put in every preparation possible for this scenario. But nature is nature. And you obviously have a rough idea of when it's going to happen, but you don't really know when. So basically, I had prepped everything. I was like, I had the vet on speed dial. They'd been out, they'd scanned her to make sure the foal was the right way on. Everything was in place. And just so for her to be ready for whenever she went into labour. Cameras up in the stable so I could monitor, etc., etc. Anyway, so it was May. We just got to the end of lambing time, and it was a beautiful spring morning. Looks out across the fields, everything's quiet, everything's grazing away. And we had that morning no electricity because we live quite remotely. It's something that isn't that out of the ordinary. It's a pain. Don't get me wrong, it's a total and utter pain. But yeah, the electricity was out. We also are a not spot, so there's no phone signal neither. So basically, it's that nice feeling of sort of being incommunicado and sort of, you know, being isolated, but in a good way. Anyway, that day, I had an event to go to. It was a charity fundraising auction, and I was supposed to be there sort of like as the hostess with the mostest, to sort of grin and smile and, you know, just generally be the life and soul of a party. So when you're going to do this, which obviously involves quite a lot of quite well-heeled people, you dress accordingly. So I was going for it. So it was like, did all my jobs in the morning, right? Did all my jobs, and then I start getting ready. Now you have to bear in mind the first thing is there is no capacity at all to use a hairdryer, use anything to straighten your hair or anything because there's no electricity. But it's fine. I can cope with it. We can go with that. So I'm getting ready, and it was the era of the cutout dress. Oh boy, I love cutout dresses with bits out, don't I? And being a woman of a certain age, having had 9 kids, things sometimes don't sit quite where they should sit.
Listen, I've got one and I get you.
So I had a beautiful blue dress that was very low cut, and it went right down below my sternum, and then it tied at the back.
Oh God.
Yes. So I was like, okay, this is fine. Now my last outing had been actually it was in that dress, and I'd been to, because we won a TV award, and I'd done that one, and I'd got some boob tape, but for some reason I have skin that nothing sticks to. It might be because I'm greasy or something, I don't know. But basically, as I went to go down the red carpet thing with that on, the boob tape came out under my armpit. So I just and just dropped off like one of those horrible plasters you find at bottom at swimming pool. So it kind of dropped off on the red carpet. I stood on it and it was stuck to the bottom of my foot. Anyway, I thought that's all okay. But the next day in the newspaper, instead of writing about the fact that I'd won an award, they wrote that I'd gone braless. Yorkshire Shepherdess goes braless. I was like, anyway, I was determined I was going to learn my lesson. And yes, things still need to be stuck in places, but I wasn't going to go for none of that boob tape. Now, I don't know if you know what black silage bales are, but black silage bales are those bales that you find of hay in the fields. Okay. All right. And you'll see them, and they're big and they're round, and you feed them to your cows and your sheep and your horses. Now, occasionally birds make holes in them. And in order to stop them going mouldy, you get this really, really sticky black sticky tape.
Oh, God.
And you stick it over the holes. So I was like, hell yeah, this is going to work. Nothing.
Take me up.
Going nowhere. It's like some sort
Strap
of
me in.
bondage kind of thing. My nipples were like up there.
And you were eating them.
Tapped over shoulders. So I'm there and I'm like, I've got myself to where I want it. And I'm like, oh my God, amazing. No one will ever know. It's absolutely fine. You can't see anything. I just look pert and proper and all the rest of it. And then the last job, before I go out and jump in the car, I look out, because of course there's no light, across the field, and there's a hoof sticking out of the back of Hazel Clydesdale. And I'm like, and I couldn't even call for help because I was on my own. There was no electricity. There was no signal. I couldn't even ring the guys at the charity auction to tell them I wasn't going. But literally ran upstairs, took the dress off, and I was like, this sticky tape's got to come off because I've got bigger fish to fry. So I got hold of it.
Oh, don't. Oh, God, you're making my knees go funny.
Yeah. Oh, boy, did I know about that. I ripped it off like you wouldn't believe. It was. Literally, things were still stuck to it.
Oh, don't.
It was so bad. I do feel, though, because then I ran out into the field, literally in a pair of really bad bobbly leggings, and Hazel was absolutely knackered. She laid down, and from some place that I will never know, I pulled out that foal, which is now maple. And
oh, my God.
I had my feet, because my mare laid down, and I had my feet wedged against the bottom of her behind, like in the top of her legs, and I was pulling.
Oh my God!
Front feet trying to pull out this foal, and I pulled it out and pulled it around, and it was one of the. I don't think I'll ever forget that.
Wow!
Because it was amazing, and then it was like the touch of reality. Okay, I've just done this. I've taken all my clothes off. I can't get to where I need to be, but hell is fine. But yeah.
Have you ever used the tape again?
No. No. And you know what? I have actually worn that cut-out dress again, but I have gone for a whole different take on it. I have just gone for, you know what? It's fine. Things just have to go where they naturally gravitate to, and as long as they don't actually fall out, it's fine. Yes.
I love that. That
was my wardrobe malfunction.
In terms of a comfort blanket, what's the one thing you own in your wardrobe that is like your go-to for, or it could be an accessory as well?
It's my swan dry. So that is like a shepherd's smock. It's got a hood. And it's got no zip. A zip is your weakest point, as we've already pointed out. Once a zip's broken, that's it.
Yeah,
it's game over. It doesn't matter how good it is, how much you like it, even if you're going to go and get it mended, once the zip is broken. And then you get to a point where you slightly don't trust zips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you're like, not sure whether this is going to be. So the swan dry, it's made of wool, so you can't wash it. Brilliant. Doesn't say dry clean over. It's got a hood on it. It's got a crisscrossy lace up top and a big pocket. It's got baggy sleeves and it's really, really long. It goes almost down to my knees. which means the person who designed it knew that as a shepherd, you tend to spend quite a bit of time sitting on wet grass, thinking about things as things are going wrong, or screaming at your dog, one or the other. Okay. And also the fact that it is so long, that means when your badly trained dog does what a badly trained dog is not supposed to do, stand upon its back legs and sort of like want to be against you, that it's all okay because you've got these lovely big swan dry. When it rains, it gets incredibly wet, but you never wash it, and it never smells. It breathes, and it is
Oh my
just,
God.
it is
That sounds cozy.
it is my favorite thing, and they last forever. So it's got darns in it, it's got holes in it. I washed it as best I could by hanging it out on the line in the rain, and something ate it, so it had like chewy bits out of it. I once wore it when I went back to Huddersfield, where I come from, and I had a pair of like maroon leggings on for some reason, and a pair of wellies, and my swan dry smock. And as I went down the road, minding my own business, I didn't realise how probably utterly strange I looked in Huddersfield. And this man who was leaning outside his shop, like smoking a cigarette or vaping or something, just kind of looked over. I can't tell you his absolute words, but I'm sure you can guess it. But he sort of looked and went, "Who do you think you are, Robin Hood?"
Yes.
Yes. It hasn't dawned on me that that's exactly what I look like, because it's one of and to be fair, since I've worn that on the television so many times, I've now got a collection of them.
Have you?
And the reason is because, of course, they're made in New Zealand, where, of course, there's a lot of sheep and the weather conditions are rather different. It would appear that people go on holiday to New Zealand. When they're in New Zealand, they are tempted to buy one of these wonderful jackets, but then they realise that actually it's really quite unwearable anywhere else, because you just look a bit, well, weird, really. You look a bit like Baldric the Peasant or Robin Hood. So then they
I want one, to be fair. You've sold them to me.
yeah, they parcel them up and send them to me. I auctioned one that not that long ago for a children's charity, because they're kind of like a collector's item. They're very beautiful and very lovely, and very practical if you actually are a shepherd, but not very practical for anything else.
Honestly, and thank you so much. I could listen to you talk all day. Honestly, you're fascinating. You're hilarious. I've had the best time.
It's been an absolute dream, because quite often I don't get to talk about fashion and clothes so much, because it is still considered quite frivolous, don't you think? It's like, but it's a joy. It's an absolute joy. So I'm going to keep subscribing to Vogue, and I'm going to keep subscribing to Farmer's Guardian, and I'm going to keep wearing what the heck I like. So thank you.
And I love that self-edit there as well, and that naughty word that was going to come out of your mouth.
You know the one that it was going to be, don't you? You didn't talk about children's books. You just talked about clothes. Yes, I know, because I love it. I mean, the children's book, that was an absolute labour of love. It was an opportunity to be able to write about our life and what we do. And, when it comes to credentials to doing that, got the children, got the animals, got the chaos. There's a story every day. The difficult thing is finding the time to actually write it down. That is hard. But I feel like to get things done, you have to ask a busy person, because you just have to cram it right in. The material is all there. And the children are an intrinsic part of the story. So they were wonderful at actually helping me set it down, because, I would be able to hear their viewpoint and their take on it. And they know all these stories. So people are like, oh, they must love reading the book. I'm like, no, they live it. They don't want to read it. I just threatened that if they'd managed to get the quiz in the back of the book wrong, that they'd be put up for adoption, which seemed like fair to me. I
love that they haven't even read it. I haven't read them.
Oh, well, I'm being honest here. I literally, on the day that it came out, I was like, book launch day, They sent me a video of them throwing it across the yard. That's the kind of humour. They're just, honestly, we have such a good time. But what you see is what you get with us. So people are like, oh,
Nice.
it's real.
Beautiful.
It's real. And that's it. So warts and all, faults and everything.
I admire that.
That's what we do. And you cannot please everybody. And being able to write those books. I mean, we talked right at the beginning about how my life, in a way, was massively influenced by books. And it sounds very much like, oh, she's sort of like conveniently made that fit because she's written. It isn't. It's an absolute fact that is what brought me here. So who knows? For a child, they get to see so much that isn't real. They get to see so much CGI. They get so much AI. They get so much perfection through a lens. Is there any wonder that we sort of have such expectations, fretting about things that really we shouldn't be fretting about because we're sort of trying to align ourselves with what is put out to us. And what I wanted to do was say, this is actually reality. I've written about imperfect Christmas. The fact that there'll be too many people, there won't be enough sitting space. People will be sat on upturned washing baskets. None of the cutlery will work. It won't look like the John Lewis Christmas,
Love it.
And we might have
that.
Yeah, because it takes a bit of bravery to step out and do things. Because and I always feel like that, in a way, living isolated and living where you do gives you a confidence.
Yeah.
And it's a funny one because it's kind of, you might say when you go to a town or a place where there's a lot of people, anything goes. So to be in the countryside, it's a different way of looking at things. Yes, eyebrows will be raised in that you're doing things a little bit different, whether it's sticking your head above the parapet and writing as well as farming, etc., etc. But that in what you wear as well. I want basically parents to want to read the children's book. I want children to read it, and I want them to get something from, even if it's just a can-do attitude at being your own self, being individual and challenging yourself. And that can be whether you yourself want to write a book, whether you want to have a different career, or whether you just want to say, hell, I'm going to wear this today. I don't care what anybody else says or thinks. So that.
Sold. You've sold the book. We love you. So, Amanda, to finish things off, we're going to do a 60-second style sprint. You have to answer as quickly as you can. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
3, 2, 1, go. Wellies or hiking boots?
Wellies.
Tweed or denim?
Tweed.
Wax jacket or waterproof?
Wax jacket.
Black cap or woolly hat?
Woolly hat.
Dungarees or jeans?
Jeans.
Your partner buys you a new bag, you split up. Do you keep the bag or sell it?
Keep it.
Cashmere or lamb's wool?
Lamb's wool.
Long coat or puffer?
Long coat.
Gloves or mittens? Know where this is going to go, I think.
Mittens!
Scarf or snood?
Scarf.
Yes! Hair up or down?
Down.
Lip balm or lipstick?
Lipstick.
Mascara or moisturiser?
Mascara.
Cozy socks or thermal tights?
Cozy socks.
Chunky boots or ankle boots?
Chunky boots.
We're done!
Yeah.
Yay!
I was waiting for you to say balaclava. I was like, please say balaclava.
Yeah, I mean, both taped up.
Yes, I was going to say balaclava. I mean, literally last year, all you could see in Vogue was like women in balaclavas. I was like, but the practicalities is that you actually get vapor on the inside because you're breathing through it, a snot mark where your nose is dripped on it. And when I wore it, I took a picture. I looked like a bloody naughty nun in a wimple. Do you know what I mean? It was like, wasn't what I imagined. It wasn't Vogue. It was like either gangster or nun and nothing in between. But There you go.
Honestly, Amanda, thank you for today, genuinely.
Thank you, sweetheart. It's been really, really lovely talking to you. It's a great idea for a podcast, so thank you so much.